And welcome inside the Backstage Pass. Always a busy week. And of course, another slew of shows coming out this week. KKTC True Country 99.9. And of course, our friends out there too at hightidecountry.net. It is tax day. Hard to believe. April 15th, I guess, for some people that still have them in queue. Make sure you get those done or file for the extension. I got mine done today for all the tax stuff out there too, through my CPA and everything out there. And in time to do a show today too. And pleased to welcome on. She's got a brand new album out there across all these digital platforms, an EP called Honest. Alberta born and raised, Taylor-Rae to the show. How are you doing, Taylor?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you doing?
It's good. I got all my chores done today. So it's like do dishes, taxes get done, figure out what you're gonna do for dinner. And usually I don't do that every week. It's just kind of one of those weeks I'm feeling good today and just the rest of the week. So it's but that's always good when that's out of the way. You don't have to worry about it no more. Which is
I
good.
know. That's get everything you don't want to do out of the way early.
Out of all the doors, take the trash out, and the list just gets bigger and bigger. And I'm sure the honey-do list will get bigger and bigger as the week goes on too. Hey, let's dive right into the deep end here too, because I love this. No stranger to good music. When I had a chance to check out this album, I thought it was one of the best EPs to come out last week on Friday, week before, I should say, on Friday, April 5th. EP called Honest. Tell everybody about this body of work and especially what a great song to set the tone for the rest of that album.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I've been releasing these songs over the past year and a half or so. And it's just kind of been a journey of really finding my sound where I want to sit in the industry. And so then kind of coming out with the song Honest, it was one of those songs I've kind of had sitting around for a while. I always loved it, but wasn't really sure if I would have the chance to record it. And I think just with all of the feelings that come with putting out music and putting everything out in the world and not knowing how it'll be received, it felt kind of full circle to make Honest the title track of that EP because it really just kind of summed it all up. So yeah, I'm very excited to have it out.
Talk about just the making of this, the producers. You work with some great writers on this too, as well, with a lot of these songs on this particular EP, and how the whole project, just seeing it coming together with the whole team behind you. And it's not just somebody stepping in the studio and say, "Hey, we're going to punch this button, record vocals." You got producers, you got songwriters to work with, yourself. Probably penning a lot of these songs too. Talk about just the process of making this album, and even how far you mentioned taking those singles and kind of building on a project like this.
Yeah, I mean, it really was kind of this body of work that built itself in a way. I started out being like, "Okay, this is the sound I want." I went in the studio with producer Dan Swinimer, who's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
If you've heard some of the stuff he's done, he's just the sound he makes is so full, and that's something I loved about it. He really puts a little bit of weight into it, and so I got to work with him. And kind of, I mean, the first time I walked in the room with him and Tavish Crow, who I was also working with,
Mm-hmm.
they kind of just wrapped me up and put me in front of the mic, and they're like, "You know what? Do what you do and feel it out, and then we can kind of go from there." They never wanted to change who I am naturally, which was pretty special as my first experience with producers of that caliber. And so then recording, I recorded a single, "Are You Still Up?" which was actually a song that I was pitched, and it was co-written by Carly Pierce, who
Mm-hmm.
I remember listening to the demo and be like, "What? Whose voice is that?" We're sitting here trying to figure it out. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to know. I want to just pick the song based on the song,
Mm-hmm.
not whoever is a part of it. And so we picked the song, and I got the list of credits on it, and I was kind of blown away to be able to record. I mean, I just love that song. So recording a song like that at this point in my career was a little bit surreal. But then kind of I moved now to Nashville a year ago, and I worked with Brad Hill, who's done some
Mm-hmm.
incredible stuff on Love You Back, and then Kate Malone, who produced Honest. And
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of just this amalgamation of people that made it what it is and really kind of believed in what I'm doing, which I find you don't always run into that. So to have that team behind it was pretty special.
When you looked at Are You Still Up To? You mentioned Carly writing that one too, which I thought was a fantastic song too. But also Phil Barton. Talk about also working. Phil Barton, a fantastic songwriter, has done a number of songs. A
He's
very, very talented guy too.
incredible. Yes, he's so great, and he's such a good person. Him and I have had the chance to catch up a few times now down here, and it was great. I hadn't met him before I recorded that song, so to kind of put that face to the name is was pretty wild. He's, I mean, very accomplished in his own right.
That particular song did go viral, to my understanding, close to what 2 million spins, and also Spotify's
Yeah.
Women of Country. When you got that news about how it just kind of hit out there too, I believe there was Fresh Finds, New Music Friday, some other things, Amazon Music's top country station. When you got all that feedback, what was kind of going through your mind?
I didn't know what to expect. That was my first song that something like that had happened. You know,
Hmm.
I always joke Amazon. I never went on to because we have these artist platforms, right? And so I never went on to Amazon Artists ever because I only had like 5 streams here and there. And I went on one morning. Literally, my hand hit it by accident, and I opened it up and I looked down, and it was like 20,000 streams in 2 days, and my mind was blown. I was like, what does this mean? What's going on?
Hmm.
And then Spotify kind of hopped on board as well. And so to see that song, you know, I was joking with my parents. I'm like, yeah, maybe they'll let it get to 1 million streams. And then it got to 1 million streams and kept going and going. Yeah, it was very unexpected. It was really, really cool though.
I loved it too. And then also talk about a song which was a summer release too, got 100,000 or more, actually over that too. One called "I Can't."
Yes. Yes. I know. I Can't was a funny one. It was kind of that song that, you know, I was pitched and I loved it. Like I'm somebody who I have to work hard to kind of be carefree, but that one time when you're like meeting somebody new and all that and everything I kind of like flies out the window. And I just thought it wrapped that feeling up so well that yeah, I was super excited to record that one as well.
Another great song out there too. I've got to go across the pond here too. Okay, England. David, appreciate you guys tuning in too. Always between the hours of 3:30 and 6:30 here. And we do the live shows, and of course the recording shows can be heard back there on KKTC True Country starting tonight, prime time 6:20 on the station out there via the LMNOC streaming app too as well. And David says, "Hey Taylor, watching from England over there in Cumbria. Which songs do you enjoy singing, and do you play any instruments?" I like that.
Yeah. So I play guitar. I grew up playing piano. I like to say I'm decent. I'm okay at a lot of different things, but definitely my forte is singing. But I would say, I mean, of my originals, the song that I have loved getting to sing over the past year or so is "If This Is Love" because it's just
Mm-hmm.
full tilt the whole way through. It's really fun.
I know also too you got a chance to partake. You see a lot of these competitions that go on too, like Idol, The Voice, things like this. But you also got a top 7 slot. Was it Boots and Hearts, so like emerging artist of the year? Talk about that and just going through a competition like that too, that really just kind of showcases artists in different genres of music, but especially country.
Yeah, Boots and Hearts is a competition. I mean, you apply for certain competitions every year, and you kind of just. I wasn't even going to apply, and it was the night before. I'm like, you know what, whatever, I'll put in, and I got the email saying that I was top 7, and I thought it was spam because I'm like, no, I'm not, you know, and and so we ended up going to Boots and Hearts. We made top 2, so we got to play the main stage on the Sunday, and yeah, it was a really cool experience, and I feel like I met just a lot of people. I mean, if you know the Boots and Hearts team over there,
Mm-hmm.
they're huge advocates for independent artists, for female artists, for all of that. So they do a lot for the Canadian industry. So I was very, very lucky to be a part of that.
I read somewhere too. You've also done the Coca-Cola stage, the famous Calgary Stampede, and of course you're no stranger to actually getting in those competitions. A big Cowboys Music Festival, and of course I mentioned that too as well. Sunfest Country Music Festival too. So getting on those stages, kind of tell me what that, how that kind of harnesses everything, kind of shapes you as an artist to be able to play events of that magnitude.
It's huge. I think, I mean, Cowboys, we played that for the first time a couple years ago, and that was probably our biggest show to date. We had never, you know, we had played shows in Vancouver, Canada, and all that, and then getting onto Cowboy stage, which is something I had always dreamed of. Because growing up, going to Calgary Stampede, we'd wait however many hours in the Cowboys lineup to get in, and so then being on that stage was kind of one of those moments where we were like, okay, here we go, you know. And it took a second, I think, to settle into having a crowd like that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we had never seen that before, but it was like one song in, my band and I mean, they've been playing with me since the very start. So we all just kind of like switched gears and it was kind of off to the races. It was really cool.
Seems like performing came natural for you at a young age. Like I said, you guys in the family home, which is really cool. Karaoke kind of started. And,
Yeah.
and when did that, I guess that age, did performing kind of say, you know what, this is my niche. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I feel myself as a performer. You know, family was big on it. Karaoke was big. And when did kind of did you get that stage presence, kind of get that feel going that, you know what, this is now my career?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I was probably 13 or 14. I had kind of started to show an interest that I wanted to perform, and we had these little competitions around the city I'm from, and so my dad had said, you're not too bad if you want to take a run at this, but
Mm-hmm.
you need to practice. Like, you don't just get to show up and sing a song and that's it. Like, if you're gonna go, make sure you're prepared. So I took that year, whatever, I practiced and practiced and practiced, and then went in the competition. Was so bad. I was so bad. It was like, the photos of me from that first performance are actually comical because I just look so out of my element. Like, I look so scared. But it was kind of those little competitions. I would perform whatever once or twice a
Mm-hmm.
year and get to do that stuff. And it was then when I really kind of figured out, I need to figure out how I can do this more and make this my life, because I love to sing. And that was probably about the time.
I love that too. The bug bit at 13 and never looked back when it came down to it too. We're not going to look back now. We got to take a time out because Taylor and I could just keep talking here, but then the sponsors would get mad too if I don't take a time out here for those guys that make the program possible too out there. If you're looking for that place to buy jewelry, I always say one place to go, the official jeweler of the Backstage Pass, spouse, friend, family member, Jewelry by Tommy. It's got you covered. Email my friend Tom Burley at burleysystem@yahoo.com. Today to order, he'll get you fixed up, handcrafted, handmade. It is Jewelry by Tommy. And also my good buddy, I talked to him today, Jonathan Bond out there. He's going to be at CMA Fest, Grammy-nominated singer-songwriter. He's worked with a lot of big artists in the industry. Barbara Fairchild we had on there just last week, too. If you're looking for that best in country Christian music, check him out at jonathanbond.com. Click the link there, get his latest music video, and find out what's going on for a very positive, uplifting message. Coming back, more with Taylor-Rae, and we're going to dive more into some of the songs off the album Honest across all those digital streaming platforms out there. Quick timeout. Here on the Backstage Pass, more to come.
Ever thought about owning your own business? Tanya Lapsley-Cockett did. She decided a little over 5 years ago that she was going to be an entrepreneur, so she started her travel business. Tanya is married and works a full-time job. Her business has given her amazing opportunities. Not only does she get to help people create memories by booking their vacations, sporting and entertainment tickets, rental cars, etc., but it has also allowed her to help other families create legacy income. The travel industry is extremely lucrative and is an $8 trillion industry. The travel industry is projected to earn in excess of $15 trillion over the next 10 years. The travel industry pays its professionals up to 70 to 80% commission on the travel that they book for themselves and their clients. As a travel business owner, Tanya books travel and teaches others how to own and operate their own travel business. She is a director in training on the marketing side of her business, where she has helped over 90 families start their own businesses. If you're interested in owning your own travel business, please contact Tanya at 917-743-1199 or at ladytlc3555@me.com.
The Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix, is a 2-hour show playing independent and mainstream country music you know and love. Be sure to check it out at thecadengordonshow.com for more information on the show.
The Bangtail Pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And don't forget to tune in tonight, 6:20, primetime there, LMNOC streaming app. And, of course, out there, KKTC True Country 99.9 will be on the phone tomorrow. Shelley with the call-in, promoting our artist spotlight interview. Tune in for that about 7:30 Mountain Time and, of course, 8:30 Central Time coming up tomorrow, too. As always, a busy week of radio. Never stops out there, too. Back here with Taylor-Rae. on the Backstage Pass, again, powered by the Sports Guys, podcast.com, and of course out there too at hightidecountry.net. The new EP is called Honest across all those streaming platforms out there. Make sure you guys go check it out if you have not already. All right, I got to ask you about Hellbent, because people can really, at least for me, can get into this. You can dive into it. Everybody loves a little piece of the pie, and the selection of music when it comes around to understand what a song like that means or resonate with something like that. Did you kind of feel when you got, I guess, hit with that one, you're like, man, this is going to make the record?
It was, yes, that was the first song that I was like, this is my song. It's so funny because growing up, I've lived away from home for so many years that my family, whenever I come to town, they're always like, oh, Hurricane Tay's coming to town. Like, everybody prepare. And the first line of the chorus is I'm a hurricane. And immediately I was hooked. And it was just like, there was so many synchronicities of different lyrics and lines in the song that I was sitting on the plane listening to it, and I had my email ready to go. I'm like, hold that song. I loved it. I love it. Yeah.
Love that one too as well. And also too, really end the album with a good one too. After you are you still up, which is written by Phil Barton and Carly Pierce out there. If This Is Love, talk about that one for me a little bit.
Yeah, If This Is Love, I mean, I didn't have a title in my mind at all going into the write. I was going into write with David Boris and my friend Bobby, and it was right around the corner from my ex-boyfriend's house. And so I walked in the door, and I was like, that's so weird. I haven't been over here since him and I dated and whatever. And they're like, oh, is he the one that got away? And so we kind of got talking about, those relationships that you're in that you're like, is this it? Is this really what they talk about and like write movies about and songs and all of that stuff? And we're like, yeah, I don't know. Like, how do you know if this is love, kind of thing? And then, so that was just it. And so we went off of that, and it was kind of the song that right off the bat, I mean, I was talking to my producer, Dan, and he's like, hold on a sec. We were on a Zoom call, and he went away for like 15 minutes, came back with this like chord progression, all this different stuff. And it was kind of like a labor of love because everybody just believed in the song. And I was being really stubborn where I'm like, I'm recording this song. So we need to figure out how to make it happen. And yeah, I mean, I would say it's got to be kind of one of my top songs on the EP for sure.
Love it, no doubt, too. Love the entire EP. Again, out there, Honest, across all the streaming platforms. Make sure you go help her out, get those stream numbers up to where a lot of them have been over the last few years, especially Are You Still Up, and then some, too, as well. Hey, let me ask you about this, because I read somewhere, and I love this, too, because it's really kind of shapes you as an artist to be able to do things like this. You actually had a degree in music business management from Capilano University. Talk about just going through that process, because maybe some artists that kind of start the career, and I've been thrown into it over the past 4 or 5 years doing this show. So you learn so much about the industry as you will, and you take a lot of that advice or take those courses, because it really is called the music business. And having something as valuable as what you did to get a degree in that, was that by plan, by strategy, and how much do you take from that now knowing the industry like you do?
I mean, yeah, it was really, I mean, my dad and I, he's kind of been like the point person for the industry where I'm like, what do you think? And I kind of bounce ideas off of him, and we were talking, he's like, you know what, if you're going to be in the industry, you might as well learn everything you can. Cause at the end of the day, I mean, we make art, we make music, but it is a business. So it was great. I think it gave me a really good foundation for what I know about the business now. And I do a lot myself. I'm very much that person. Like, if I'm not getting it done, is it getting done? So
yeah.
So I learned a lot from that. And I think obviously a lot of it is learn as you go. But to have that base was huge. And I mean, I met a lot of people through that network as well.
And like I said, I told you, we do our homework here on the show when we go out to get little pieces of tidbits of information, which is good out there too. And if you want to find out more, TaylorRaeOfficial.com is a website out there too. And of course the EP is Honest. All right, I got to dive into Love You Back, because I thought that was another good one off the EP.
Yeah, I love that song. So I wrote that with David Boris, who is also on If This Is Love, and David Evans. And it was kind of, I mean, same relationship type thing. Dave Boris was like, back when I loved you, whatever. And immediately we're like, I should have loved you back. And it's that whole feeling of when you get out of, I think we take people for granted in a general sense. And with like family and friends and all that, I think a lot of that you don't really realize what you have until it's gone. And so Love You Back was really based out of that idea.
Beautiful song out there too. Again, on the EP "Honest" from Taylor-Rae out there too. We got to be honest here and take a timeout, because if they don't, they start snapping at me, going, "Hey, where's the break? Where's the break?" We'll do that right here. Come back and we'll do a little rapid fire with Taylor-Rae, and also talk about some other songs out there across all these streaming platforms out there too. But if you're looking for the best in Christian country music out there, look no further. My buddy Jonathan Bond out there, JonathanBond.com, Grammy Award winner, singer, songwriter. He's done it all. He's worked with some of the top names in the business. If you find yourself like me, needing that positive, uplifting message, check him out there and click the link below out there too as well. And of course, if you want to make somebody smile, Taylor, myself, anybody out there, your spouse, friend, family member, just get them jewelry and send it to them, right? Email burleysystem@yahoo.com today to order. It's handcrafted, handmade. It's jewelry by Tommy. We'll come right back here. Quick timeout. KKTC, True Country, 99.9, and our friends out there at hightidecountry.net, powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com. Hang tight.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
The Caden Gordon Show is a 2-hour show playing the best in country music. So check it out at thecadengordonshow.com. Again, that is thecadengordonshow.com.
Ever thought about owning your own business? Tanya Lapsley-Cockett did. She decided a little over 5 years ago that she was going to be an entrepreneur, so she started her travel business. Tanya is married and works a full-time job. Her business has given her amazing opportunities. Not only does she get to help people create memories by booking their vacations, sporting and entertainment tickets, rental cars, etc., but it has also allowed her to help other families create legacy income. The travel industry is extremely lucrative and is an $8 trillion industry. The travel industry is projected to earn in excess of $15 trillion over the next 10 years. The travel industry pays its professionals up to 70 to 80% commission on the travel that they book for themselves and their clients. As a travel business owner, Tanya books travel and teaches others how to own and operate their own travel business. She is a director in training on the marketing side of her business, where she has helped over 90 families start their own businesses. If you're interested in owning your own travel business, please contact Tanya at 917-743-1199 or at ladytlc3555@me.com.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And of course, you can catch it tonight, 6:20, LMNOC, the streaming app out there, KKTC True Country 99.9. And you just might hear the episode with Taylor-Rae coming up tonight from 6:20 to 7 o'clock there in prime time on your drive home, picking up the kids from school. You can stream it there in the car. And of course, out there, LMNOC streaming app, always at hightidecountry.net, and the shows at the YouTube channel. And of course, out there too, the Sports Guys podcast.com out there too. Again, Honest is the current EP from Taylor-Rae across all the streaming platforms. You can visit TaylorRaeOfficial.com. We got all those particulars out of the way. So you just do all that identification, website, great music out there too. Now we get to have a little fun too. All right. Speaking of sports and I love Alberta. So I visited up there several times. Great friends. Reminds me a lot of just like greener pastures of Texas where I'm at down here too. So I love it. Oil, kind of that oil boom up there too that we had down there. They had it in Alberta at the same time. For you, being from there, hockey fan, sports fan, do you get into any kind of sports at all?
Oh, yeah. We are a huge hockey family. We all played growing up. My sister still plays. So she's in the professional women's league right now up in Montreal. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I like that. I actually had heard something about that too, that Montreal was doing that too for a professional ladies hockey league. I'd like to go to one of those games at some point just to kind of see and take all that in.
I know it's so cool because it's the first year that they've had like this big league. So they have 6 teams throughout Canada and the US. And so this weekend we're actually going there, and they sold 21,000 seats in like 7 minutes.
That's amazing. It's
Insane.
the women's sports, men's sports. You got to have it on the college level, but even the professional level now too, like WNBA. Like I said, March Madness for the ladies out there. What Caitlin Clark did this past year at the University of Iowa, being one of the top female athletes. Just love to see female sports excel, just the way guys sports do as well, collegiate and professional levels too.
Yeah.
At the same time. Now, as far as hockey teams, is it Calgary Flames for you? Is it?
No.
No?
We are the Oilers.
The Edmonton Oilers. Okay. I got a chance to actually go by the arena because Edmonton is where we visited. This was probably 2017, 2018, somewhere in there. And it was like the last time that they put that roller coaster in one of the largest malls, in Edmonton Mall or whatever that mall was called. I can't remember, but we got to ride a roller coaster indoors in a mall, and we got to actually grab some Oilers.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that. And they've taken it down since then, I heard. It's not there anymore.
You know what? I haven't gone. We used to go there for birthday parties growing up. I have not been in so long.
That's the cool thing. All right. Favorite food, whether it be on the States side, Canadian side. Obviously, I could say, for me, poutine has got to be up there for me. It does.
Okay. I think like a rice noodle bowl.
Okay.
Yeah.
On both Canadian side, American side too?
Okay. See, I don't know. So have you ever been to Earl's or Cactus Club?
I have not, but you talking Nashville there now?
Those are Canadian.
Those are Canadian, okay.
And they're so good. So those would be those are some places that I would love to come down here to Nashville. But really anything from there.
There was one I got coffee at, and I can't remember. It was like pretty much a chain throughout Canada too. And I'm trying to remember, more like a fast food restaurant, and it was actually pretty good. Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons.
Apparently we're getting some in Tennessee.
It's not surprising too, because I actually bought some of those coffee pods they had in HEB down here, one of our grocery stores, and I said, I remember this Tim Hortons, and I remember connecting the dots up there too, because it was actually a pretty affordable breakfast too at the same time.
Oh my gosh, you can get everything for like $5.
$5 at Tim Hortons, no doubt. All right, when you get the sweet tooth, or do you have a sweet tooth? What do you kind of go to? Cake, ice cream, cookie cake? What do you do?
Oh, frozen candy.
Ooh, really? I've not had that.
You just buy candy, stick it in the
freeze it. Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'd lose a tooth or something.
Well, that's the thing. You can't just eat the whole bag. You have to just have a couple because they're frozen.
That's a little bit tough on that level too, no doubt. All right, you've stepped on a lot of those stages. We mentioned a lot of the ones we talked about, the competitions you've been in. Is there one for you? I mean, obviously, dream stage to step on.
I mean, yeah, I think this is probably similar to every other country artist, but the Grand Ole Opry.
There you go. See, I knew that was coming too. I read her mind right there too. All right, what toppings go on a Taylor-Rae pizza? What do you like?
I'm so basic. I would just say cheese, ham, and red peppers.
All right. See, I could eat a slice of that, no doubt too. Of course, you'd probably slap my hand. Get out of here, Brandon. This is my pizza. I'm not going to share it with anybody out there. If you were to win the lottery tomorrow, what's the first thing you would do with the ticket itself? What would you spend it on?
Honestly, I'd probably just spend it on myself. But I would spend it on music, I think. And then depending on how much it was, I would buy houses for my family and I so that I could live in the same city as them.
I like that too. All right. If you were not a musician, I guess the karaoke machine, and of course being around family from a young age and learning performing arts at 13, what else would you have done? What other career path would you have taken?
Okay. So I really, growing up, thought I was going to be a lawyer or something. My parents said I would be a great lawyer because I'm really, really good at arguing. But later, as I was kind of pursuing music, my second kind of thought would be that I would be a teacher.
There you go. See, that's what I do on the day side of things is take care of the school district and teach, and then come home and host an award-nominated music podcast out there too as well. All right, we'll do this one. Favorite shows to binge watch. What are you getting into lately?
Selling Sunset.
Haven't seen that one. Is that a Netflix or is that a?
Yeah.
I haven't seen. It's a Netflix.
It is. It's definitely reality show.
Okay.
It's not really great quality probably. But I love it. But I love all of that stuff. Anything reality TV, I am ready for that.
Have you seen the Deal or No Deal Island, which is that It's okay. I'm not like totally like just engulfed in it, but I've missed the old like studio version of it. Howie Mandel, the briefcases, the way it
Okay.
used to be now, but they're
Yep.
like throwing them from helicopters and throwing them into oceans and ponds and near snakes and alligators, and it's like a real competition. It's almost like Survivor. That's what it's like with
Whoa.
briefcases.
Well, I
Yeah.
would like that because I've been on a Survivor camp as well.
And one of the guys who was in it, I think his name's Rob. I think he'd actually been in Survivor before and then taken over this particular
Holy.
competition too. So he had a little bit of experience from Survivor and brought it over to this Deal or No Deal Island. I believe it comes on tonight every Monday at like 9 Eastern, something like that, 10 Eastern, 9 Central, something like that. But it comes on after what shows on ABC. I guess it'll be Idol tonight or whatever it is. Anyway, I wanted to ask you too about that. Those competitions that you've done, like Boots and Hearts, and I just love watching. There's something about the nostalgia of an Idol or The Voice, just to see the new talent come on there. Give me some thoughts on those particular shows, and I just love learning about new artists. I appreciate the arts and crafts of it.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, if I was American, I would have been auditioning for those shows for the however many years because I love, like, growing up, we used to always watch Idol and America's Got Talent, all that kind of stuff. I think they're great. I think it's like a nice way, like, especially for a musician, the market's so saturated. So to have something to kind of prop you up in a way it's pretty cool.
As for the views it gets on social media, it doesn't hurt there either when it comes to the different videos and reels and highlight packages and things that you put out too. Of course, they'll unveil the top 14 tonight, 6 more cuts on Idol, and then of course The Voice. Our good friend Karen Waldrop, who came by the show last week. Karen Waldrop's based out of Nashville there too, and of course all over the country touring again. So best of luck to her in the knockout round too, as this is the last week of knockouts from our good friend Karen Waldrop too as well. Again, Honest is the new EP across all the platforms out there. Make sure you guys go check her out at Taylor-Rae Official.com for tour dates, merchandise, things like that. So you always go out and support every artist we have here on the program. Hey, appreciate the time. Good to get to know you and the music out there. Hope you enjoyed the chat and looking forward to doing this again.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
You got it. Taylor-Rae here on the broadcast. We're back tomorrow. Another great interview coming up tomorrow at 4 o'clock here on the Backstage Pass. Tonight, 620, KKTC, True Country, 99.9 in the car, and via the LMNOC streaming app out there, 620 to 7 o'clock. We've moved to primetime 5 days a week out there on that station in Taos, New Mexico, and up into Colorado. And, of course, always, hightidecountry.net. We'll see you guys tomorrow on the Backstage Pass. Until then, God bless. Take care.